Out on a dry riverbank in the Kimberley, under a black velvet sky, an old tracker called Jarrah once sat with a city lad around a flickering fire. The lad thought he knew the moon, just a big glowing disk that rose and fell each night. Jarrah chuckled, then pointed up. He told him about Poontobang, the moon man, who grew so jealous of the sun woman's light that he wept until his tears formed a shimmering lagoon. But then the old bloke leaned closer and whispered something that sent a chill down the kid's spine. There are people in that moon, spirits and beings. They watch, they teach, and sometimes they come down among us. The lad couldn't look at the sky the same way again. If you're keen to hear how these moon people shaped the oldest cultures on Earth, smash that like button, hit subscribe now and stick around. We've got a journey that'll make you see our nearest neighbor with fresh eyes. Before diving into the moon people themselves, it helps to understand how the oldest mobs on this continent see the sky. In the dreaming, time is fluid. Ancestral beings created the world and still walk among us. For many mobs, the sky isn't just decoration, it's a library. Every star holds a story and the moon has a face. In a legend recorded by Roslyn Haynes, the sun is a woman who lights a bark torch every morning, spills red ochre across the clouds, and carries warmth back underground at night, while the moon is a male spirit linked to fertility and magic. When a solar eclipse appears, many people interpret it as the moon man and the sun woman uniting. A famous Awabakal tale tells of Poontobang. Because of the moon's phases, folks rarely saw his full face, and he grew envious of the sun's brilliance. In his sorrow, he wept. His tears spilled down and became Glenrock Lagoon, a sacred waterhole. To cheer him up, people dance and sing during the dark moon. Later, an anthropologist sitting among Tiwi elders heard the story of Purukapali. In it, the moon offered to bring a dead child back if humans accepted a cycle of death and return, but the grieving father refused and decreed mortality. The moon ascended to the sky bearing scars, cursed to die and be reborn each month. These tales aren't just myths, they're lore, psychology, and science rolled together. They teach us jealousy can create beauty, grief can shape ceremony, and cycles govern everything from tides to moods. Keep those threads in mind as we meet the beings said to dwell inside the moon. Our first chapter introduces Poontobang in more depth. In the Awabakal story, Poontobang is the moon man whose light pales in comparison to the sun woman's. Because of the lunar phases, folks rarely see his whole face, and he feels overlooked. He watches the sun cross the sky each day, painting the world with color, and he longs for her brightness. In his envy, he weeps, and his tears spill down to earth and form what we now call Glenrock or Belmont Lagoon. This isn't just poetic. That lagoon near Newcastle is still a sacred spot. Elders tell that when the moon is thin, Poontobang feels lonely, and at the new moon the community gathers for a corroboree to sing and dance, reminding him he's loved. Years ago, a marine biologist named Alicia visited that lagoon during a new moon celebration. She'd driven up from Sydney to study estuary ecology, but ended up moved by the story she heard around the campfire. As locals sang to the dark sky, she felt how the myth bound them to place. They believed the fish and plants were literally born of a spirit's tears. Some versions of the myth add that Poontobang isn't just sulking. He takes on the hard slog of lighting the night so travelers can see. His tears teach us that even unseen work matters. When you next see a thin crescent, maybe think of a lonely moon man and send him a quiet "G'day." We're only getting started. There are more lunar beings with very human emotions. Our second tale takes us north to the Tiwi Islands. There, a story told by elders explains why death exists. Long ago, Purukapali and his wife Bhima had a son, Janani. One day, Bhima met her lover Tapara, the moon, and left the baby sleeping in the shade. While they flirted, the child rolled into the sun and died of heat. Tapara said, "I can fix this. Give me 3 days and I'll bring your boy back." He proposed that if humans agreed to follow his cycle, to die and then return with the phases, there would be no permanent death. But Purukapali refused. In his grief, he declared permanent mortality. He performed the first mortuary ceremony, called Pukumani, and walked into the sea carrying his child, sealing his decree. Many tellings add that Purukapali speared the moon, leaving the marks we still see on the lunar surface. Bima, stricken with guilt, turned into a curlew whose wails still echo over the islands. The Tiwi say that's why the moon dies and is reborn each month, while humans live once. Imagine being offered immortality and turning it down. The moral, even gods can be thwarted by grief. Across the top end and into the Torres Strait, there are whispers of beings who inhabit the moon. In some Yolngu and Torres Strait traditions, the moon is more than a single spirit. It's a world filled with ancestors and star children. Elders say these beings live in its belly and watch over tides, yam growth and kin balance. A senior Walpiri woman described how, during a crescent moon, her mob climbs a dune and sings to the moon, asking the beings inside to bless unborn children. There are taboos against sleeping with your head pointing towards the moon because it's thought the moon people might disturb your dreams. For the Yolngu, the moon man is said to swallow the souls of the dead and carry them inside his belly until they are ready to be reborn. A cosmic womb. A Melbourne writer named Sarah witnessed a women's ceremony under the waxing moon. The performers believed thousands of eyes were watching. Ancestors in the moon. Think of the moon as an incubator. Just as seeds germinate unseen beneath soil, spirits are believed to rest inside it. Have you noticed how folks talk about feeling a bit lunar around the full moon? Emergency workers often claim nights of full moon are busier. In communities like the Noongar of Western Australia, each phase has a meaning, instructing when to hunt, harvest, or rest. An Aboriginal education officer in Perth taught her students to journal with lunar phases, waxing, wax, gathering thoughts, waning, wax, letting go. Even if moon beings aren't literally inside your mind, the lunar cycle affects sleep, which affects mood. We're creatures of rhythm. Maybe check where the moon is when you're feeling off. We only ever see one side of the moon. For some clans, the far side houses spirits too dangerous to gaze upon. The moon turns his back to shield us. A Wiradjuri elder once said, "Just like you show your good face to neighbors and hide your mess in the back room, the moon does the same." The hidden hemisphere becomes a metaphor for the parts of ourselves we're not ready to show. When astronauts finally saw the far side in 1968, it shocked the world. For traditional owners, strangers looking into that cosmic back room felt unsettling. Do the moon beings like being watched? Maybe not, but mystery demands respect. The moon shapes tides. Torres Strait Islanders time fishing and gardening with lunar phases. A fisherman named Wanu said he avoids fishing at full moon. Fish see the nets. Science agrees. Islanders plant root veggies during waning moon, harvest during waxing. Even today, lunar phases guide ceremony calendars. Try planning your next camping trip around the new moon. You might find your body syncs with the old ways. In many dreaming stories, moon spirits send messages in dreams. A nurse named Lee in Darwin documented how older patients shared moon dreams with her. Bark paintings often show the moon as a face with beings inside. One Yolngu artwork shows the moon swallowing a fish, referencing the story of Ngalindi, the moon man who is cut apart and regrows in phases. Contemporary artists still feel inspired by these motifs: graffiti, murals, tattoos. The moon people whisper through creativity, maybe even through this video. As we wrap up, look at the night sky. The stories we've shared, Poontobang's tears, Purukapali's decree, beings in the lunar belly, carry lore, psychology and science. Whether or not you believe in moon people, these tales teach humility, responsibility and rhythm. Ask yourself, which phase are you in right now? Full and shining, or rebuilding quietly in the dark? Either way, the moon people might be watching. If this yarn about moon mysteries gave you goosebumps or a few good stories for your next campfire, give this vid a like, drop a comment with your favorite lunar tale, share it with a mate who loves a good mystery, and hit subscribe to keep these ancient stories alive. See ya under the next moon.